Week 7. Let's kick the tires and light the fires, baby. Let's talk transactions.
Transaction Tracker.
JB, not a huge week of transactions.
No, very slow week.
There's been a lot of them actually, but not no real meaningful ones. The big winner of the week was the Teflon Don, grabbing Boston Scott and starting him against the Johns in what is being called the hot chip matchup. Could decide who is 13th, who is 14th. Paid $31 for him, and that's money well spent. He had a nice Thursday night game, and put you in a bit of a hole.
Yep, he looked good, and it was one of those things where I didn't even realize I was kind of looking at his team throughout the week, and almost didn't even realize I was going against them. And then Thursday hit, and it was just like, oh shit, that touchdown goes against me, and oh, he has 10 points. So
It's just
that
been one
hurt.
of those years.
Luckily he. I guess luckily, I don't know. He didn't start Deshaun Jackson, which he was texting me that he was kind of bummed that he didn't. But he kind of started off great, and then he obviously limped off the field at the end. So probably a good non-start by Teflon. But in the beginning, it was looking like he
He's
missed
ready to
another.
go off. Yeah.
Missed
I
another good
think
one.
Djax, this might be the end, man. Like he's on IR, 4 to 6 weeks, high ankle sprain. It looked really bad. He couldn't put any weight on his leg. Like I don't know. At what point is this guy just done with all the injuries and ready to hang him up?
I would think so. Like maybe you go to I don't know. With those kind of injuries too, it just feels like it's just going to keep happening. He's going to come back in a year, and then he's going to limp off with another hamstring, and it's just he's getting old. Time to hang him up. I feel like he's already like he's a speedster too, so it's like at what point do you just kind of lose a step and then he kind of loses his value?
Yeah, I will say, like, people have said for a long time, like, oh, Djax, he's a one-trick pony. That guy's hung around for a long time and been relevant. Maybe not as
Right,
much
and
in
he looked good.
fantasy, but like just as a good football player on a team.
Right, and he looked good on Thursday night too. And
Yeah, he did.
he got injured again, but he was still catching balls and looked pretty good. So it's like, yeah, you can still put numbers up.
So the other two, Ty Man's picking up Matt Ryan back to the well, dropping Ryan Fitzpatrick, who he spent $25 on. Also, Fat Cat dropping Andy Dalton, picking up Logan Thomas, that he spent $30 on. Uh, you know, tough to say I told you so, but in this case, I told you so.
Yeah, those are two. I mean, Fitzpatrick's a weird one because I don't know. I think he was doing pretty well for the Dolphins. I think it's kind of might be a little too early to go with Tua. I don't know. That was a strange one for me. It was kind of
Yeah, it's weird timing.
rivals like it's kind of rivals like the Washington like with Dwayne Haskins, where it's just like, all right, he wasn't doing that bad, and it just like seems like a weird time to do it. Where I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't really understand it.
It's like they smoked the Niners on the road. They come home and shut out the Jets and kick their ass. And now's the moment. I guess there's a bye week, but like there's 7 teams make the playoffs in the AFC now. And the Dolphins are 3-3, one game back of the Bills in the AFC East. Like I don't get it. Fitzpatrick's been playing well.
Right. He looks good. I feel like he makes them as good at the best that they can be. And like, who knows? Maybe you catch lightning in a bottle, and Tua is actually awesome. But it could probably go more so the other way, and he's probably going to lose a few games his first time out. And I don't know. Yeah, weird one. When like you said, you're one game back. It's you could still get the wild card or even the division if you
Yeah.
just kind of ride it out with Fitz.
Hey, as Bills fans, let's do it. Let's start the experiment with the little weak left-hander that throws. He looks like Tim Tebow.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I don't see the Tua. I'm not on the Tua train. I don't
I
know.
think I think it's just the left-handed thing for me. Like anytime
Right.
there's a left-handed quarterback, I'm just like, ugh, yeah, I don't want that guy on my team.
Right.
All right, the other probably interesting one is Antonio Brown getting added to the Toon Squad. I feel like Toon Squad has Antonio Brown like every year. But you know what? I don't know. We'll see. He's going to play in Week 9 because of the COVID rules. He can't play this week. I don't know if it moves the needle. It's like it feels like a Gronk situation where it's like, yeah, he's there, he's a name, but is he going to be your starting receiver? Maybe. I don't know. Do you think he offers anything?
I don't. I feel like it's been this like with AB and Josh Gordon these last few years where it's just everyone's hoping like, all right, this guy's a stud. He's going to come back, and then he comes back and he looks pretty good. He gets a touchdown, and he just I don't know for whatever reason these crazy guys just never they can't keep it going for a few weeks. So I don't know. I think he will be good for maybe 1 or 2 weeks to get you a touchdown here and there, but I don't know if you can say that he's going to be your number 1 or 2 receiver going forward. I don't think you can't rely
Yeah,
on that, and I don't think it's
no
going to
way.
happen. I don't know.
All right, let's talk matchups, folks.
Weekly picks.
Let's do it.
Uh, we'll start at the top again. The 6-0 undefeated fantasy sports legend facing the 4-2 Tony Horton, who has a really good team. And if there's a week for FSL to pick up his first loss, it could very well be this week. I'm projected. It's a really close matchup, 134 to 134, basically. Um, the only glimmer of hope here is Aaron Jones picked up a calf injury in practice, and looks like he's a true game time decision Sunday, which changes the math quite a bit because I mean his running backs Kareem Hunt and Aaron Jones, Kareem Hunt at Cincy, Aaron Jones at Houston are fucking terrifying. Like those guys could both have 30-point games very easily.
Right. And yeah, and it looks like with his running back situation that if Jones does sit, he's going to have to go to the free agents because Fournette's his only other running back. Obviously, he's not playing, so it's so he's going to have to go to the well and pick up some running back that hopefully you get a few catches out of or something like that. I think maybe Duke Williams was the best running back in free agents that I saw that I was kind of looking at between
Duke
him and
Johnson,
Pirine. Yeah, Duke Johnson. I said Williams. Yeah, Duke
you got
Johnson. So
Bills
it's
on your
like,
mind.
oh yeah, I was trying
Duke,
to think Duke. Oh god.
yeah, no, I mean that changes it quite a bit because Aaron Jones is his best player. So if it's just a scary situation because like calf injuries, like we've seen it with John Brown and the Bills, like they don't go away, and like all it takes is a first quarter tweak or something. So I don't know, that news changes things a little bit more in my favor, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the biggest mismatch is probably Kyler versus Teddy. That's Tony's, kind of one weak spot, and Teddy coming off a really bad game, 7 points. Up to that point, he's been good, but, Kyler's, just been, 20, 25, 28, 32, 34. Like he's been really consistent. He's got a really high floor. I get to keep Mike Davis for one more week, maybe 2 more weeks. We'll see if CMC comes back in week 8.
Mm-hmm.
But my team's healthy. Andy Reid said he's not even sure if Lev Bell is going to play for Kansas City, so I might get one more week of before I have to see what that looks like in Kansas City. A really good matchup, heavyweight battle. I think Tony is going to be in the playoffs and a very formidable foe. I'm going to take myself. I think the Aaron Jones news changes it and gives me a little confidence. So I will take FSL to keep rolling 7-0. Let's go, baby.
I'm going to take the favorite here, which is weird to say because you're probably mostly the favorite, but I'm going Horton. I think Jones is gonna be fine. I think Cooks it has had 2 weeks, until he proves me wrong and shows that he falls back a little bit. He went 30 and 21 in his last 2 weeks, so he's playing great. Even though Green Bay should be a tough one, but I think it could be a little shootout there. And then Bridgewater. This is not a betting podcast, but I think I'm sprinkling a little bit on Carolina for my upset of the week against New Orleans. New Orleans is a mess. I think Bridgewater is actually going to go in there and roll against them. Maybe even putting them in a little parlay situation.
Parlay? That's the one. Parlay. Parlay. Parlay.
Oh, interesting.
So I think Bridgewater is going to do well and maybe outscore Murray. So I'm going to roll with Horton and give FSL his first loss of the year.
Okay. Fair enough. He's a good team. All right, let's go to the Buffaloes, 5-1, rolling against the beleaguered and injured and wounded releasing Doves at 1-5.
Doves.
The Doves, it's getting ugly out there for the Doves. He's projected at 107. Kipper had Philly D, which gave him 10, so that holds serve very nicely. I, I don't see a lot to get excited about here on the Doves. We'll see if Lev Bell plays. He has Julio. That's his one, diamond amongst a pile of shit. I don't know. I don't see how he gets this done against Kipper. Kipper, has
Mm.
Deontay Johnson back. Obviously starting Brashad Perriman never get you too excited, but Allen against the Jets. Will Fuller's been playing well back to back. He had 22, 15, 24 the last 3 weeks. Zeke against Washington should be, they should lean on him heavily. I don't see any reason to pick against the favorite here.
Yep, I think I'm rolling Buffaloes. I think they just have the better team. They're rolling. I think they go to 6-1. I think they have a good team. I think Perriman, it might be a shootout versus the Bills. How their defense has been playing. So if Perriman can just get one kind of one touchdown there or a few catches and get to his projection, I think it's going to be an easy roll win for the Lows.
Yep. Yeah, not much more to say there. Doves, fucking
Mm.
figure it out, man. Okay, next up, the 2-4 burnt toast. Who I liked a lot coming into this season, and it has not been falling his way. I still think he's got a good team. You look up and down the roster, and there's really good players, but he's got to turn it around. And he plays a Luch team, which is probably a pretty fake 4-2. Luch always gives me shit because I crap on him every week, but he somehow continues to pile up the W's at 4-2, sitting in sixth spot, the last team in the playoffs if it ended today. Um, you know, Luch, the same story, man. It's David Johnson and Todd Gurley at running back, and
Hmm.
they've both been kind of good. Like they've both been
Yeah.
fine. You know, Gurley had a down week last week, but 4 out of the 6 weeks he's been in double digits. He's been a very solid RB2. The problem is he just doesn't have an RB1, and he also doesn't have because Cook's out and Jefferson's out, so that really hurts him this week. Burnt, I think, catches him in a good spot. I like Burnt to get back in the mix at 3-4 and take down the Luch. What do you think?
Yeah, I think with those projection numbers, even though you can't read too much into them, I think that's just too much to overcome. Obviously, Johnson and Gurley have been good for him, but just looking at Burn Toast's a team, you have McLaurin. Hopefully, McLaurin can have a bounce back. He was a stud to start out, and it's kind of been struggling as of late with the quarterback situation there. But if he can,
Yeah.
he had a good week last week. He had 7 receptions. Just needs to get a touchdown. He's only had 1 on the year, but. Again, I think DJ Moore. I think Carolina is going to have a good game this week. I'm kind of bullish on them. So yeah, I think I'm rolling Toast. I just think his floor is pretty high. So I don't think he's gonna stoop down too low. So he's gonna be tough to beat. So I'm rolling Toast as well.
Yeah, it's just tough. I mean, Luch's two best players, Justin Jefferson and Dalvin, both on bye. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Justin Jefferson is probably the best keeper in the league right now. So Luch has to be
Yeah,
excited about that. I don't know if he's ever had a keeper. So this will be a nice first one for him because Justin Jefferson looks like the real deal.
yeah,
All
yeah. Going
right.
against my lead pipe lock last week, Luch helped me get that locked down. But going against him.
All right. So now we go to the DBAB Derby, as some are calling it. Big Daddy AE against El Gordo Gato. Big Daddy AE sitting at 2-4. The Wheeler and the Dealer fighting for his life here. Is this a must-win game for both of these guys at 2-4?
I think so, just because they both have pretty good teams, and when I look at them in like the disparity between them and my team at 0-6, it's surprising that they have such good teams at 2-4. Like they really don't have too many weak spots here and there. Um, I mean Big Daddy AE's team is pretty solid, so I think this is a much must win. If you go to 2-5 with some of the firepower up top with the Buffaloes FSL. I think it's going to be tough to hit the playoffs. So I don't know. I think this is a must win for both of these
Is it a
teams.
must-win or can't lose?
I think it's more of a can't lose situation.
Okay. Yeah, Zachy bitching and moaning on the group chat because Devonta Freeman got his ass benched for getting his quarterback blown up on Pass Pro. Only got zero point 0.8 points, which is tough. Not the
Yeah,
way you
that's
want to
rough.
start out the week. Claypool, I think Zachy actually drafted him. Another good keeper prospect. He looks like he is the real deal in Pittsburgh. Mike
Yep.
Evans. I mean, Zachy's got an okay team. There's just not a lot of firepower. Um, I think AE with Russell Wilson, Lockett, Amari's been downgraded to probably wide receiver 2 with Andy Dalton. But Derrick
Yeah.
Henry, the only good news for Zach is Henry plays Pittsburgh. And the problem with Henry is when he's in a smash spot, he will truly smash and score 40 points. When he's in a bad matchup, that's where Henry owners, that's why he goes for what he does, right? Like when he plays
Mhm.
Pittsburgh, I don't know. I mean, unless he breaks off a long one, Pittsburgh's run D is the best in the league. These are the weeks you're scared as a Henry owner because he could have, 22 carries for 61 yards and that's it. No catches, no touchdowns, and it's just like this is my RB1.
Right. Yeah, yeah, it's a surprising. I thought he was just always, looking at his games where, when you're going against Minnesota and Houston, he's running wild. But even against the Bills, he was 19 for 57. They kind of stopped him, and their run defense their front four has been disheveled. And then
Right.
Jacksonville, he kind of struggled. So, yeah, it makes sense, like what you're saying. When he's in a spot where, he's going against a bad run D, he's unstoppable. But he seems like he can be in a bad position. He seems to struggle a little bit.
Yeah.
So he's not a
So
home run hitter this week.
I'm gonna take AE. I think the fat cat's licking his wounds a little bit. Jonathan Taylor on bye. Um, I think AE's got a little too much firepower, and Noah Fant back in the lineup certainly helps.
Yeah, I feel like we're agreeing too much, but I think I think a lot of these games are kind of set to be a little bit of blowouts, a lot of bye week issues and stuff like
Yeah.
that for teams who are kind of struggling. So I'm going to roll with BDAE as well. I think he's going to pull out the victory.
All right, moving
Getting
on.
0.8 from your starting running back is always never a good sign.
You hate to see it. All right, moving on to the hard hitters at the Toon Squad. Hard hitters at 4-2, Toon Squad at 3-3, holding on for dear life. Hard hitters get a good break this week, facing the Lamar Jackson-led Toon Squad. Lamar Jackson, unfortunately, is not playing this week, making the rich getting richer a little bit, and maybe Nigro getting his first fairly straightforward matchup of the year. He's had some incredibly hard matchup luck. Like this dude could easily be 6-0 without some bad luck. His team, he misses Thielen, which hurts because he doesn't have a lot of depth, but he gets Kamara back off bye. Justin Herbert as the starting quarterback is a little bit interesting. Do you play Herbert here, home against Jags, or Carr, home against Tampa?
I think they're going to be right around the same, but I would probably actually lean Herbert. I think the Jags have kind of looked like crap. Tampa Bay's defense is pretty solid, so I would probably go Herbert and just hope he has some. He has a few long ones or something along those lines. I think they're going to be right around the same, but I'd probably roll Herbert.
Yeah, I think Tampa Bay is kind of arrived as a defense to be feared in fantasy.
Yeah.
I think going forward, when one of your guys plays Tampa, there's cause to be concerned because they look freaking awesome against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, no one has slowed down the Packers or Rodgers, and they put a whooping on him.
Yep.
So, I think Toon Squad has firepower. When you have Devontae Adams and Kenny Galladay, those are, two guys that you don't love playing against because they both can go off. Adams certainly more so, but Galladay has been pretty damn solid since, he started his 2020 campaign. Kenyon Drake, he's been somewhat of an enigma. Like, he's stunk the whole year. He's getting a ton of volume, but Kyler seems to vulture every touchdown for that team at the goal line. And last week, Drake finally got going, delivered for his owners, 28 points.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get used to that. I don't know. Do you see an upset here?
I actually can. I mean, I think Justin Jefferson's kind of a pretty good kicker for Toon
Justin
Squad,
Jackson.
Where I think if he could go in and put up 14 or something,
Yeah.
He could be. I don't know if he can score over his projected. He's a pretty good flex to have there. Let's see. I think Washington. That's kind of a sneaky where they could even get. I mean, if Dalton looked that bad, I mean, they could be a D that gets 14 or 15. Let's see. Galladay, Gibson. Yeah, I'm actually rolling the upset this week. I'm going Toon Squad. I think Burrow. I think there'll be a shootout in Cleveland. I think the Adams and Galladay stack is pretty good, and Gibson's been okay. going against Dallas. Hopefully he can pick it up and get 15 or 16. So I'm rolling the upset this week, going Toon Squad over the Hard His.
Okay. We've been agreeing all day. I'm gonna continue. I can see it. Like there's more dead spots on the hitters than like Montgomery at the Rams. That feels like a really bad spot. Crowder, we'll see. He's questionable. He might not even play. I like the Toon Squad to pull the upset this week, and the tough luck hitters continue to face tough luck.
Crowder's going to be matching up with Trey all day. I think he had one really long touchdown against the Bills last week, in week 1, but other than that was held to nothing. So, and then Jonnu Smith had a rough week last week against Pitt. I'm not sure, it's not a great matchup, but he's another guy that could put up 20. So that's another strong point if he can have a good week. So, yep, I'm rolling Toon Squad.
All right, on to the matchup of the week. This would be featured on Sunday Night Football. This is like the relegation battle in English Premier League soccer. It is the Jibby Johns 0-6, Teflon Don 0-6. Just trying to stay alive and trying to avoid eating the nuclear chip, which one of them will be doing in a couple months' time. The Johns start Darius Slayton. Tough luck. I like that spot for Slayton. I thought he was going to do well. I started him in another league.
Me too.
Give me a Michael Thomas as an insider. I mean, how much do you fucking hate this guy?
I think I told you the other day I'm going to buy a bottle of champagne like El Prez does and write his name on it, and when he's out of the league, pop it, because I will forever hate Michael Thomas. He will be one of those guys where in 8 years, if like he has a great career and then finally it ends or something, I will be celebrating it.
Dancing on his grave.
He's an Ohio State guy, so I always kind of hated him, and just how he dealt with this whole situation. Like if a guy gets injured, that's one thing. You don't hate a guy for that. It's if Saquon, CMC,
right,
maybe ruined your season, but whatever. But when a guy gets injured, finally gets back, punches a teammate, and then has another weird injury where it's maybe his ankle, they said it was his hamstring, something where I don't know. This guy he's done. I don't even know. I think I would just make a statement not to even start him if he does come back. I think he's gone. He has contract issues with the Saints. He has contract issues with the Jibby John. I think I'd bench him.
I love that. Teflon's team is objectively better than yours, but I don't know, man. I think you're headed to 0-7. I think you need to stop starting Drew Brees. I do.
I'm actually not going to start him this week. He's been okay. But...
Yeah, he's been better than I thought he was. I just like the whole fucking Taysom Hill thing is like, they put him into the goal line. He steals touchdowns from Brees. Like, if I owned him in fantasy, it would drive me absolutely crazy. And like, he has been pretty good. So I was actually surprised when I just clicked on his stats this year. So I take that back, but I feel like he would just drive me freaking nuts.
Right. I feel like he's been bad all game, and then all of a sudden you'll look back and he'll like throw 2 touchdowns late. And it's like, oh shoot, he has 24 points. It's like, okay, sweet. He's been a weird one this year, and luckily Taysom Hill, I've been watching a lot of their games. He's not that great. Like when they put him in, he kind of struggles here and there. I don't know. So I think Breeze is, I started Minshew the other week and he kind of
like 16
didn't do
points
so
or
well. Right. So I'm going to roll Teflon too. I think I lose this one, maybe hoping for a little reverse jinx. But to be honest, I was hoping Slayton and Boston Scott would do the switcheroo and I would get 18 and he would get 4. If that was the case, I would like my chances. But because it happened the other way with Boston Scott going off and Slayton being held to 2 for 23, I don't know. He's kind of my wild card. I was hoping he would get 20 for me. And yeah, that hurts. I don't think I'm doing much this week.
I think this matchup is first one to 100 wins, and I don't see you getting there. So I'm going to take the Don as well. All right, final matchup of the week, a big one. The Clifford's Cool Cats, who have run into some injury issues big time against the Tie Man's All-Stars, who, this guy's matchup luck is insane. Like, he has 699 points, and he's at 4-2. There are 3 teams at 2 and 4 that have more points than him. So I don't know which God this guy prays to, but I need to figure that out and get involved in that religion. Funny anecdote. Tyler and I have a bet this year on which quarterback will score more points, Baker Mayfield or Josh Allen, for $100. So you can guess who I took, and you can guess who Ty Man took. That means a new Josh Allen jersey is coming to my house on the dime of Tyler, and it's going to be awesome.
Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, what world do you make that bet? Baker stinks, and Josh Allen is, the MVP. So that's a tough one for Tyler to eat, but I think that gives you some insight into how his brain works. You look at his team; it's solid. AJ Brown's been really good since he's come back. Travis Fulgham, I guess, is the new guy in Philly. James Robinson's been good. Jet McKinnon's been good. And, he really won that trade against AE. He got Jet McKinnon and Devontae Parker for Josh Kelly, basically.
Right.
I mean, AE, you got trade rate, bud. Because, it looks like Mostert might go back on IR. Clifford, sitting at 5-1, I'm kind of rooting for Ty Man here, selfishly. Trying to get that first round bye, but Hopkins is truly questionable. Joe Mixon has been ruled out. Austin Hooper ruled out. He has, not very much on the bench to replace these guys. I guess Jamal Williams, actually, if Aaron Jones doesn't go, that's a nice bailout. I don't know. This is a close matchup, and I think if Tyler steals this one, that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, it really helps that with Mixon out, Hooper out, and with, I guess, Hilton, whatever, he's not great, but Mark Andrews on a bye. He's been a pretty solid tight end this year. So that Hooper being out, it's like, I feel like Clifford was sitting there with a lockdown tight end this entire year with Andrews. So
yeah,
I think I'm going Ty Man here. I think he has a good team. I think AJ Brown's been a stud. Matt Ryan versus Detroit, that's probably going to be a shootout. Fulgham put up 12, which is crazy that it's way under what he's been doing. But I mean, that's a really solid week by him. McKinnon should do well. Hopefully Gallup bounces back a little bit. He's been up and down like crazy. But if he has a good day against Washington, so yeah, I think I'm going Ty Man. I think he rolls over the Cool Cats, even though he's probably going to be the underdog, because once Clifford adds Jamal Williams and adds a tight end in there for Hooper, he'll probably be up on him. So, but yeah, I think I'm going Ty Man, going with the underdog.
I'm going to disagree. I think Cats has enough to get it done. As long as Hopkins plays, I think Jamal Williams is going to get a lot of work this week, even if Jones doesn't play, because he's clearly not going to be at 100%. I think the big names on the Cool Cat will do enough to get him the W this week. So I'll disagree with you there. All right, let's get to some lead pipe locks.
The lead pipe locks of the week.
JB, what do you got?
You go first. I always go, and then you go. You go first this time, so you can, and then I can go off of yours, because I don't want to steal yours.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the 2-4 burnt toast over Luchinator. I think Luchinator losing Dalvin and losing Justin Jefferson really hurts. The rest of his team doesn't have a lot of teeth for me. I think Burnt Toast gets to 3-4 with some fairly decent matchups. Lucha has some decent matchups too, but losing those two guys, I think it's too much to overcome.
Yeah, I like that. I think we both agreed on Burnt Toast. I mean, it's crazy going with the 2-4 team lead pipe over a 4-2 team, but that's just how it is. Like, I think his team is much better.
I don't know. It's you got to be a little controversial on these, I think, and picking against Luch is one of my favorite sports, so I'm gonna keep doing it.
He's gonna be pissed because he was pumped that I took him last week. So if he, oh man, he's gonna be chirping if he somehow pulls it out. I'm going with no one circles the wagons like the Buffaloes over the Doves. I think the Buffaloes rolls over the Doves this week. I don't know. I just don't see much in the Doves' arsenal. I think Kipper's rolling. I think you should be afraid of him if you go down. I think you could be tied with him at 6-1. I think his team could be a league winner. He's always there for whatever reason. I think
He's
Josh
always
Allen
there.
finally has a bounce back and goes off this week. I like him in all my DFS lineups. I go with the Allen Diggs stack because I think even though they're expensive, I think they're going off. But yeah, I like him this week. I think Elliott has a little bit of a bounce back, even though Washington's front is pretty tough. I think he gets pissed off and has a good week. So yeah, I'm rolling with the Buffaloes, going to 6-1.
I mean, listen, it's easy to pick against the Doves every week. It's like with suicide pools with the Jets. It's like they just kind of ruin the suicide pools. You just pick against them every week.
Yeah.
So yeah, no arguments there. The Doves is having a long, hard look at himself in the mirror this season. All right, well that was fun. Everyone have a fantastic week 7. Let's stay healthy. Let's score some points. Let's win some money. Commissioner and JB out.
Peace.